All right, today we're stepping into the very secretive world of Freemasonry. We're going to be looking at it through the lens of one specific document, Freemasonry Revealed. And using that as our map, we'll explore the fraternity's origins, its structure, and what this text claims are its deepest, most hidden secrets. Right off the bat, you can see our source material mixes some very familiar religious images with symbols that just scream hidden knowledge. This really sets the stage, doesn't it? It suggests we're talking about a group whose roots are tangled up in faith, history, and of course, secrets that have been kept for a very, very long time. You know, the author of our source text, Jeremiah Green, says it himself. Hundreds of books could be written about Freemasonry. So, just so we're all clear, for this explainer, we are focusing only on the main claims and the big revelations from his text. That's going to give us a really clear, structured look at his specific perspective. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to define Freemasonry and see how members climb that ladder of degrees. Then, we'll get into the symbols and what our source claims is a secret Masonic god. After that, we'll check out its sister organization, the Eastern Star, before we finally get to what the text calls the ultimate secret of the Knights Templar.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. According to our source, what in the world is Freemasonry and where did it even come from?
According to this text, Freemasonry is, pretty straightforwardly, a secret international fraternity. And while it was officially organized in England back in 1717, its legends and its claimed history go way, way farther back, all the way to the building of King Solomon's Temple.
This story is really at the heart of everything. The foundational myth is all about a guy named Hiram Abiff, the temple's master builder. Legend has it he was cornered by three guys who demanded he tell them the secret password of a master mason. He refused, and they killed him for it. And boom, right there, from the very beginning, you've got the two core Masonic values: loyalty and, above all else, secrecy.
Okay, so you're in. Now what? How do you move up inside this secret fraternity? Well, our source describes a really clear hierarchy. Think of it like a ladder of degrees that every single member has to climb. For anyone who joins, the journey starts right here, in what they call the Blue Lodge or the Mother Lodge. A new candidate has to pass through these first 3 degrees. You start as an entered apprentice, then you become a fellow craft, and finally, a master mason. This is basically the foundation for everything that comes next.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Once you become a master mason, you hit a fork in the road. Our source explains there are 2 totally different paths you can take to get to the higher degrees. The York Rite, which has these things called chapters and commanderies, or the Scottish Rite, where you just keep climbing numerically, all the way up to that prestigious 33rd degree.
Okay, so we've got the structure down. Now, our source takes a turn, and we're diving into the really esoteric stuff. We're talking symbolism and the text's big claims about what the fraternity really believes when it comes to religion. I mean, come on, you've definitely seen this symbol before, right? The square and compass is hands down the most famous Masonic emblem. Our source says that as a Mason climbs the ranks, the meaning of this one symbol gets deeper and deeper, representing a kind of spiritual journey.
Now, this is a huge claim in the text. It says that when you first join, you just have to believe in a supreme being. But later on, you're introduced to a very specific one, G-A-O-T-U, or the Great Architect of the Universe. And here's the real kicker. The source claims the true name of this god is a secret, one you only learn way up in the higher degrees.
So that leads us to one of the biggest bombshells in this entire document. What is this supposedly secret name of God, the one that's revealed to Masons who make it all the way to the Royal Arch degree of the York Rite?
Okay, so the text breaks this secret name down into 3 parts. The first syllable is Jah, and it connects this directly to Jehovah, the God of the Old Testament. The second syllable, Bu, and the source is very clear here. This is a direct reference to the ancient Canaanite fertility god, Baal, a figure who, in the Bible, is often the rival to Jehovah.
And the third and final part is On. Our source links this to the ancient Egyptian city of On, which was a major center for worshiping the sun god Osiris. So, let's put it all together. J-A-B-U-L-O-N. You get Jabulon. According to this document, this is the true, hidden, composite name of the Masonic god, a fusion of deities from 3 completely different ancient cultures.
Okay, so Freemasonry has historically been just for men, right? So what about their female relatives? Well, our source explains that's why an affiliated group was created, known as the Order of the Eastern Star.
The rituals of the Eastern Star are built around the stories of 5 heroines. You've got Ada, Ruth, Esther, Electa, and Martha. But, and this is a really specific kind of shocking claim in the text, look at Martha. The source doesn't just identify her as the sister of Lazarus from the Bible, it claims she was the wife of Jesus.
And no surprise here. Just like with the Masons, secrecy is everything. The source even gives us a direct quote from their initiation pledge, where members have to swear on their sacred honor to maintain absolute secrecy about all the ceremonies and signs of the order. It's that same theme of sworn silence we saw from the very beginning.
And this is where it all comes together. We are at the climax of our source's entire narrative. The text has been building towards what it calls the ultimate secret, one that ties together Freemasonry, the Knights Templar, and a hidden history that could change, well, everything.
The author alleges that the legendary Knights Templar were guarding a massive secret. And it wasn't gold, it wasn't some lost artifact, it was a secret about the life of Jesus himself. So, what could it possibly be?
Okay, here it is, the great secret, as laid out in this text. The source claims that Jesus survived the crucifixion, married Mary Magdalene, and had children with her, creating a sacred bloodline. It alleges that this family fled to France and that the real reason the Knights Templar were formed was to act as their secret guardians. This, according to the source, is the bombshell that connects all these different groups.
So, we've been on quite a journey, haven't we? We've walked through one text's very specific interpretation of Freemasonry, from its foundational stories to its most unbelievable claims. It weaves together ancient orders, historical figures, and religious stories into a single, secret history. And it kind of leaves us with one big question. What does a narrative like this reveal about our collective search for hidden meanings and secret connections behind the history we think we know?